Welcome back to News Talk. Joining us now here on the program is Natalie Williams, a longtime political activist in the district. She has organized an event to raise money for breast cancer awareness, and the event takes place tomorrow. We are delighted to have you with us today. Welcome back. Good to see you.
It's so good to be here and not talk about politics for a change.
Oh, give me a chance. I'll get there, but no, I'm kidding. We have an even more important topic to talk about today. You're having an event tomorrow at National Harbor that raises money and awareness and just kind of rallies support for an issue that I'll bet has touched close to every family you know, I know, and that is listening today at home.
Absolutely. We are having, the Natalie Williams Breast Care Foundation, we're having what we call the Bustier Brunch, an afternoon with the girls, and you hit it right on the head, where we are celebrating breast cancer survivors and supporters of the cause. And so you'll have hundreds of women who will come out just for an afternoon of food, fun, and sisterhood. We do welcome men at the event too, but primarily there'll be women who have undergone this disease that has faced so many of us.
And it looks like you have a great lineup. You have entertainment, it's a brunch, what's not to love about that, and you have what you're calling an education moment too. So
absolutely.
You're touching all the important pieces.
This event is designed to be fun for the day, but also to provide the necessary facts that are needed. So when women leave there, they've had a great time, but they've also been empowered with information and what they need to know that could potentially save their lives.
What sorts of things do you want people to take away?
Well, I want them to take away that, one, they should have their mammograms regularly. 1 out of 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and unfortunately for women of color, the results of that does not end well. You find that African Americans, Latinos, Hispanics, they wait until the last minute to actually even have a mammogram. Some of us don't even know what a mammogram is, and so part of our role in this foundation is to make sure that we're educating women. We're educating women of color to say, you should have this mammogram on an annual basis, and not just one time, but every year.
And, you know, we see our doctors occasionally, but we're with our friends all the time.
Right.
And what a teachable, what an opportunity that is to say to a friend, hey, have you thought about, have you thought about a mammogram?
Absolutely.
Do you do the self-exam? Because, you know, if we're dependent on it being something that comes up in the doctor visit, the annual physical, or you're in for something else, and we're counting on the doctor to say something then, and they just, because of the rush of the day, they don't say it, well, then years can go by.
Absolutely.
Without that important information.
So in my situation, it was my mother who said to me, you're a big girl now, let's go get some big girl tests, if you will. And for her, that big girl test was a mammogram. And so on my first visit to the doctor to have this mammogram, it was detected that I had a tumor in my left breast. I went on to decide to have a double mastectomy, chemotherapy, and radiation, and now I'm a 3-year survivor.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So great. So many people know you from your work in the community, in the not-for-profit sector, in the government world, in politics, and for everyone who encounters this, our prayers are that they can get into treatment quickly and that treatment is successful.
Absolutely. And you brought up the politics. At the time where I was diagnosed, I was actually running for city council, and the news came out that I had been detected with breast cancer. And so I didn't shy away from that. I did several interviews that talked about it, and you'd be surprised the number of people that reached out to me to say, thank you so much for sharing your story. I haven't had a mammogram ever, or I haven't had one in years, and just because of you coming out and telling your story, I'm able to go to the doctor today.
We identify with people that we know from the community and who seem like us.
Yeah.
And that courage is really I don't think we can ever know how many lives you touch when you do what you did.
Absolutely.
You do this sort of, let me open up the phone lines now. I wasn't going to, but I feel like this is the right kind of time for us to open up the phone lines. If you have anything you want to share as we talk about breast care awareness and the event that's taking place tomorrow, we'll put the information out there. Folks can still buy tickets?
Absolutely.
Okay,
they can go online.
So our number, and there's the information. Let's do this. Let's put out the number for the call-in, because we have several more minutes with Natalie, and I want people to to know that our number is 703-387-1020. I do need, though, for you to grab an open line right away. Call in now. Those of you watching in the 11 o'clock hour, that's when we can and do take calls. So 703-387-1020 if you want to connect with Natalie Williams. And then we'll put the information on the screen. Folks can see the web address, the phone number. They can buy tickets. They can take part in your event tomorrow.
Absolutely. We'll be selling tickets at the door, or they can go online to supportbreastcare.org today and get their tickets.
What I want to ask is, can you talk about the pivot that someone has to make when they get that diagnosis? When you go in for the first time to have a mammogram, you're probably thinking, if you're like I would think the average person, this is the right thing to do, and it will show nothing. I'll be good, and it'll be a waste, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what you hope for. But what if that's not what happens? How do you take that news and then say, okay, I got to start thinking about a diagnosis, a treatment. I have to weigh the options, and I have to gird for this fight.
Well, in my situation, I came back from the doctors and I got a notice in the mail that said my test was abnormal. And so it was actually my mother who said, oh, that's not uncommon for folks to get an abnormal test, and so you should just go back. And so I went back, and when I went back, I was there for hours, and it was there that they told me that it had been detected in my left breast. It only took me a few minutes, though, to decide what I was going to do. A few minutes meaning a couple of days, after I had gotten the diagnosis. But my doctors determined that I needed to have my left breast removed. After I got past all the cosmetics conversations and what would it look like and all of this stuff, I decided on my own that I would have both of the breasts removed. And so that was a difficult decision, but when I thought about saving my life and not having to go down this road again, it was very easy.
I can't imagine how often people must come up to you and connect and say, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for putting all this important information out, and I can't imagine how it feels to have that happen.
It's the joy of my day. I deal a lot in politics, but it's this foundation that really makes me smile. And when I see people that say, if it were not for you, or I had a lady last year at the brunch who says, I've never spoken to anyone about this, and I'm glad to be here today. I know that I'm doing the right thing.
Let's talk with Paula in Suitland. She's on line 1. And Paula, I'm grateful you called in. Go right ahead, please. You're on the air.
Hello, how are you?
Great, doing fantastic.
Awesome. This is Geneva and Paula from Stanley's Hair Design, and we just wanted to support Natalie, and we're super excited about the Boutier brunch.
Are you going?
Yes.
All right. Good.
Thank you for calling in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You
look beautiful, Nat.
Thank you. It's this type of forum that's necessary to tell the story, because a lot of times, women just don't, I consider myself educated, I consider myself well connected, but had I not had someone else to talk with me, or had I not been in the company of people who were talking about this, I probably would have never gone to even have that first test. And so I'm glad that people like Paula and Geneva will be attending the brunch, and I'm hopeful that we'll have hundreds and hundreds of more women there as well.
How often should a woman do a self-exam? How often should you get a mammogram? At what age should all that start?
Well, I'm told that at the age of 40, if you have no history in breast cancer history in your family, you should start your mammograms at the age of 40. If you have someone who's had breast cancer in years past, then they say 35 is the age that you should start. But our campaign, we call it the Test My Breast campaign, and I encourage women to, every time they get in the shower, to test their breasts. It may sound a bit risque, but it's exactly what's necessary in order for you to just be mindful of your own breast health.
Give out any phone number, any email information.
Yeah.
I know tickets are available ahead of time online. People can call in, right? And they can show up.
Yeah, they can just show up at the door.
$75 sounds like a really good price.
It's a great cost for what you're going to get in return. But please visit supportbreastcare.org. You can do that today, right now, and purchase your tickets, or we'll have tickets available at the door. Doors open at 10:30, so you should get there early.
I hope you have a great event. Thank you for for your time. Thank you for telling your story.
Absolutely.
And this is great information. Thanks for using this forum to put it out there.
Thank you for
really
having
appreciate
me.
you stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
The great Natalie Williams. Thank you very much for stopping by today. Good to see you as always. We'll get you caught up on the hour's top stories. We've got the weekend forecast on tap for you as well. And then the Washington Nationals and their search for a new manager after this.